Welcome to the Passionate Pro podcast, where we believe that work doesn't have to be unpleasant. We shine a light on the people that are bringing their passion to their profession. Today, I've got an awesome guest with me, Caiseen Ward, and we're going to talk through his journey of becoming a passionate professional. I'm Meagan, your host. Hey, Caiseen, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Good to see
Very
you.
good. Good to see you again. We haven't seen each other in a while.
Absolutely. It's probably about a good 20 plus years.
20 plus years.
Yeah,
well, okay, then we got a lot of stuff to talk through. We're not going to give away our age too much here. But first question, of course, we got to go to the sneakers.
Okay.
I got on my Clark Atlanta Dunks, 1988, find a way or make one. But I see you got the patent leather J's on.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, growing up, I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm a Mike fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Mike fan. I'm a fanatic fan. Mike is better than Kobe. Mike is
Come on now.
Better than LeBron. That's
man, you gonna start a riot.
We're gonna go right there. But growing up, I seen Mike with the patent leathers, and I always wanted the black and white ones, and I still do not have them. And so I got the black on blacks and got the black and red ones, but I still have to get the black and red ones. But red ones, I was like, I have to have those. I'm a CAU graduate as well.
Yeah.
We know that, and I pledge Kappa.
There you go.
So the red ones have to be. It's so much.
Well, you feeling the whole vibe today.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Well, look, so I like to start. So thanks for bringing the J's in. You're giving me a little bit of a shoe envy, but I'll try and control myself. So let's start though. What do you do now?
So I'm a trainer slash I started my own supplement brand. My supplement brand is called Aesthetic Engineering because just like I went to school at CAU, got my master's at Cornell, got my bachelor's at CAU, and I was an engineer. And so I worked at P&G, Procter & Gamble, Gatorade, and I was making all these formulations, and I always had a passion for fitness. And so,
well, hold on. Before we get there, because I heard the word passion. That's my trigger.
Yeah,
that's my trigger word there.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. But at Clark Atlanta, though, engineering major, so not like biology or chemistry.
No, I was.
So why?
Well, I think when I was in 7th grade, my mother pushed me into some science and enrichment courses. So I was in middle school, but she had me taking engineering courses at a local. LaSalle University in Philadelphia, where I grew up at. And so I think that was my introduction to engineering, and that was a seed that was sown in me really young from my mother's standpoint. But then when I was a graduating senior in high school, I had a cousin of mine who went to Penn State. He was a freshman. He was a computer engineer.
Okay.
And so between that seed that was sown in middle school and then watching him as a freshman and I'm a senior in high school, I think that really was the birth of me wanting to get in engineering. And then when I came to CAU, that was the degree I chose. Okay.
So what was it like being and I remember you being very into fitness.
Yeah.
I was more into partying, but would do some fitness just to make sure, that I was not getting fat.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit though, what was that like in college? Being an engineering major, but having like this thing inside you for fitness?
So it was interesting because in college, at CAU, it was rigorous. You would see your friends out in the yard hanging out, but you knew, hey, I'm walking by, I got my head down, and I got to go to class, I got to go study. I'm in the Science Research Center. And so it was really all about finding that balance of when we weren't studying, I would go to, they had at Brawley Hall.
Brawley Hall?
Well,
JP Brawley?
The gym was actually underneath Pfeiffer. If you remember.
Yeah, I do remember that you had to go in the back.
Yes.
That's right.
So the gym was at Pfeiffer. And so that was a little small gym that we would go to. And then whenever we had an opportunity, I may go to either to CAU gym, which in the stadium, or I go play ball and lift weights over at Morehouse. And so it was really about just the grades dominated everything. Engineering dominated most of my time. But when I had an opportunity to, I would work out.
So you go to engineering school because you're good at it, right? You're smart enough, right? Yeah. That sounded bad, but I respect it. Right. So you go to engineering school and you graduate.
Yeah.
And then you go where?
I went to Cornell.
Yep. So your master's at Cornell was
electrical engineering.
So you stayed the path.
I stayed the path.
Why?
CAU again is all because of our professors. You know, most of our professors were graduates of Ivy League schools or the top engineering schools, and they pushed on us. Coming out, looking like us, people of color, you're going to potentially have things going against you, and they pushed to get a higher education, to ultimately get your PhD, and so. I did research at UIUC or University of Urbana-Champaign, and they was pushing for us all the time to get our PhD. And so it wasn't even thought to go to corporate. It was automatically go to grad school.
Did you feel, because you said, it was there. So at this point, there's a lot of external factors that are keeping you on this engineering path.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I enjoyed the idea that I was doing something that a lot of people weren't doing. I enjoyed the challenge of it. I enjoyed the rigor of it, the discipline of it. One thing I didn't mention, while I was in undergrad, I also was in the military. I was an armed reservist. Mm-hmm. And so that was instilled the discipline in me. And so I enjoyed it at the time. I knew that ultimately coming out, it could be a really lucrative career. And most importantly, I was the first person in my family to go to a 4-year college.
Okay.
So
there's a lot of things that were built up on top of this engineering career and degree.
Breaking generational curses, breaking that trend. And so for me to go to the highest level was definitely the goal. So
you had aspirations here that were built upon that engineering degree. So you finished Clark Atlanta, you finished Cornell. Now it's like, so you didn't choose PhD,
I chose master's. So once I got into grad school, I was like, man, and then I started to feel burnt out, from school, because I did 5 years at CAU, and then I had this accelerated master's program, and they were actually offering me, Cornell actually offered me to get to my PhD, and I said, nah, I'm a finish up with my master's, and I'm gonna go make some dollar bills.
So what was the first job?
I got recruited immediately and worked for Procter & Gamble.
And what were you doing there?
First roll out of grad school, I was a maintenance manager working at the largest manufacturing facility, had over 25,000 employees. They made, it was basically 2 umbrellas under one hood, under one roof. Family care side, where they made Charmin tissue, Love diapers.
Did you like it?
I did at first, but one thing, so that was the epiphany. My first week working, you went to school, you did all these great things, and then I'm sitting in the morning meeting, and I'm feeling something missing. And I'm like, and
what was happening in the morning meeting?
Nothing's happening, but I'm feeling like I don't feel complete. Like I went through all this schooling, I got this great job of making more money than I ever made, but I didn't feel fulfilled. And I'm like, something is missing.
No, I've been there, right? Because you're sitting there, and if you look at what we call engineer empirical evidence, but if you look at the facts, right, you're like, okay, I did all of the things.
Yes.
I should be on top of the world right now. Yeah. Why am I not?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And so what did you do with that feeling?
I started to really search, and I started to talk to, and so my mother was an entrepreneur. My mom was a successful entrepreneur. She was a hairstylist. She did really well. And so I started to realize that I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. And so I started to talk to a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And I'm like, what do you do? And their biggest advice, I promise you, the biggest advice was find something you're passionate about and figure out how to make money off of it.
So what caused you you're sitting in that meeting, you have this feeling of I'm not fulfilled, something is missing. And your first thought was, let me go talk to some entrepreneurs. Not necessarily, let me go talk to the bigwigs over here at Procter & Gamble or even my professors.
So, and the reason why, because I saw one of the highest ranked black men at the plant. He was, easily making probably $250,000, even more money a year, highest ranked black male. And I looked at his life and I said, I don't want that.
So that's interesting, right? Because so there's a point there where you talk about your mother. I would imagine that the family life that you had growing up, you saw things there that you wanted to continue. And so then that led you to say, let me go talk to entrepreneurs because maybe that's the lifestyle.
Yes.
That's going to be something that's more in line with what I want to do.
Yes.
So they tell you, find something you're passionate about. At that time, when they say to you, find something passionate, did you automatically know what that was?
No.
What did you do?
I had no idea. I started to soul search. I started to do the basics like, man, I mean, it's some of the basic. I like to brush my teeth. No, can't make no money over that. I started to look at the most basic things I do every day that I do rigorously. And that's how I stumbled upon. So I started to, and meanwhile, I'm always working out, but it's never clicking. And so I stumbled upon acting. Right? Because people are like, you funny. And then they start comparing me to different celebrities. You look like this guy, you like that guy. And that's how I got bit by the actor's bug.
Okay.
So,
where were you living at the time?
I was living in Philly.
Okay.
So no, I was living in Pennsylvania. And the ironic thing was I went out of grad school in 2007 and then the recession hit.
Yes.
So 08, 09, the job market was shut down. You couldn't find a job. So now I'm just in this big rush. I'm loving the job. I love the money, but I hate where I'm at and I'm not loving where I'm doing. And so now I'm trying to apply to jobs. I'm trying to get back to Atlanta.
Okay. You were applying to acting jobs or just any jobs?
Just corporate jobs so that I can transition and get back to Atlanta.
Okay. So here's Caiseen in Pennsylvania, not liking the work he's doing, but deciding, this acting thing might be interesting for me. Yeah. I need to get to Atlanta. Yeah. So whoever's going to move me to Atlanta, I'm going.
Bingo.
I get it.
Bingo.
Okay. All right.
Bingo. So I take a job. I take a job with GE.
Yep.
General Electric. They transfer me down here. And when they transfer me down here, they do full relocation, all the great package. And immediately I get some headshots done and I jump into acting.
Well, we hope that none of those guys are watching and coming back for their reload money. All right, so you moved to Atlanta. So at this point in time, right, are you feeling like acting is your passion?
I'm trying to figure that out. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying getting in front of the camera. I'm enjoying meeting people. I'm enjoying the charisma. I'm enjoying the tangibles of, going through that emotional roller coaster, finding the characters. And so I'm enjoying that piece, but I come to realize that I did not enjoy the auditioning part. The auditioning part was just horrible for me in my mind because it would be like, hey, you're going about your regular life, and then on a Sunday at 7 o'clock at night, hey, Caiseen, hey, listen, we got this character. He's going to be a coffee worker. And he's young, he's working, and he's in college, he's just working coffee shop on the side. And hey, by the way, it might be a good idea for you to shave your mustache off because... Oh,
wow, that's commitment.
And I'm like, so you telling me I got to shave my mustache off for just a audition? This doesn't mean I get the role.
Right, and then if you don't get it, you no longer have a mustache.
And now I'm walking around, they're like, yo, bro, why you cut your mustache off? What's up with you? What type of stuff you into? And I'm like...
Okay. So
and I didn't. I didn't love it. You know what I'm saying?
So was it the fact that you didn't like that one part of it that said to you, you know what, this is a big part of acting.
That's a big part because every day you might get 10 auditions, especially if you're agent. Because eventually I got an agent. I had a really great agent, and so in acting you're going to get probably. If you're doing really well and your agent is putting you out there, you might get 10 auditions a week.
Okay.
So that's a big part of the process.
So you're in Atlanta. Now you're still working at GE. Yeah. Right. GE by day, actor by night and on weekends. Okay. Yeah. Got it, like a superhero of some sort. Yeah. All right. there's a comic book in here somewhere, man.
Exactly.
All right. Exactly. So you're like, this acting thing is not it. And so then what did you just stop acting?
So no. So what happened was, I auditioned for a show. I auditioned for Ride Along.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I auditioned for the role that eventually they gave to David Banner.
Yes.
And obviously I didn't get it, right?
Yeah.
And so...
you wouldn't be sitting here. I don't think.
Exactly, right?
You probably wouldn't even know my name.
Whatever, we already went to college together. So in the midst of that, I knew the casting directors. And so I knew them personally. And so after I auditioned for the role, I called her back and I was like, hey, listen, I could, what I say to her? I could stand in for Kevin Hart. She was like, you know what? We might be on to something. Fast forward, they did I didn't talk about this part, but in September of 2012, they had really did a big, the company I was with, they did a really downsize. They downsized and they did away from that department. And so they offer packages. So I left GE and now I'm not working, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start training. So I was already training.
So hold on, because I don't want you to gloss over this. So this is interesting, right? So in terms of mindset, at this point in time, this engineering job I've got over here is not really what I want to do, but I have bills to pay.
Yep.
The opportunity has presented itself that buys me some time to go do something else.
Yep.
And you took advantage of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're already on this path to go through this to find your passion.
Yep. So I'm already training. I'm already training a couple people on the side.
Okay.
Right? A couple clients. And that felt really great. Like I'm making, over $100,000 at GE, but a person giving me $60 for a session was like, no red tape. I ain't got to wait for a direct deposit from their hand to my hand. And it just felt really fulfilling. And that was the fulfillment that I was looking for. And so.
How long did it take you to realize that was the thing that you were missing?
I knew it then, but I was fearful.
Why?
Because, I guess the whole anticipation of, hey, I'm the first person to go to college. You're doing something that nobody else in our family has done. You're making more money than anybody else in our family has made. Dude, you got to go take advantage of this. But you telling me, and see, back then, fitness wasn't popping. I'm talking about 2010. Yeah. Social Instagram wasn't popping like that. It wasn't a thing to do. Now it's haywire.
Right.
But back then, you really didn't have that many people making millions of dollars off of fitness.
So for you, it was like, they always say, my mom used to say this, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush, right? So for you, I have these engineering degrees, this very advanced engineering degree. I can go get a job and I can make definitely enough money to live very well. Why on earth would I jump from that to something that doesn't have any certainty? Yeah. But what about, was there any fear that you weren't like certified?
Yeah, I wasn't certified. So I went and got probably 2013, I went and got certified. But mind you, 2012, I left the corporate role, right?
Yeah.
This is September 2012. I go audition in October 2012. A month later, I get to be a stand-in. So now every day I meet Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So we meet each other. I introduce myself. November of 2012, I'm training Kevin Hart.
Training Kevin Hart.
So I went from working corporate. So now I'm training him and standing in for him on the set.
How do you end up training Kevin Hart? Like, what's that conversation go? Like, I just have to know.
Well, it was interesting, and this is obviously before the training he has now. So I'm working on the set, and I'm coming on set like this, and he obviously can see I'm in shape. And a lot of times, when comedians say things, they're always funny. So a lot of times people don't take them serious because after a while it's like, whatever, dude, you're funny. So for a while, for like 2-3 months straight, he would be on, because we was on set. He would come on set like, man, I from now on, he would talk to one of the directors, the producers. I need a jump rope. I need a jump rope on set. I need to get this workout thing going. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I'm broke. I got a jump rope in my trunk. I got a whole weight set in my trunk.
Wait.
Next time he said something, I'm going to just ease up on you. Kev, listen, what's up?
Is that what you did?
And literally, when we broke set, they said cut. I pulled up beside him. So I feel like really, that's what he wanted me to do. Right? He was waiting for me to say something.
So Caiseen, there's something, as I'm talking to you, these opportunities keep presenting themselves. Always. And despite the fear that you talked about, you were like, man, I'm gonna just do it.
You gotta keep on walking.
So you train Kevin Hart.
To him, my heart racing, and he like, yo. Well, I said, well, listen, would you me call your assistant? He said, no, take my phone number.
Shut up.
So I'm like,
shut up. What?
I got this dude number in my phone. I'm calling my mom. I'm like this. But the problem was this. I still was in fear and I still was in doubt. And so the biggest thing with that opportunity that I did not take advantage of was, so mind you, we training. After that, we fly out to New Orleans. We fly to New Orleans. We do grudge match.
Yeah.
This set had De Niro, Kim Basinger, Michael Buffer.
Stop.
And he was like the Don King.
Yeah.
And I think De Niro and Stallone. These are all these people on this set. It was Universal Studios. And mind you, this is 2013. Colin Kaepernick is still with the 49ers. So this was, imagine being in New Orleans.
Come on, man.
We got Mardi Gras going on and the Super Bowl at the same time. This is that Super Bowl when the lights blew out.
Dude.
The problem was me. And this is one thing I would tell anybody. Do not let fear handicap you. Because I let fear handicap me. And the biggest thing I did not do with that opportunity was I did not let the world know that I was training one of the biggest celebrities in the world.
Yeah.
And so I never posted it.
Oh, man.
I was so fearful because I had a little, and it's life, right? This maybe 17, maybe 15 years ago, I had a little misdemeanor that I was dealing with. And in my mind, I let that. I'm like, in my mind, well, I'm going to go to this case. I got to figure out this case first. And this dumb little thing I got going on. And I'm going to post after that.
And in that case, opportunity is gone by the time you wait through all that.
Yeah. So I would tell anybody, do not, even when you're fearful, keep on going. If it got your heart racing, do it.
That's good.
Because if you don't, the opportunities are not always going to be there. And so what happened was we trained for 6 months straight, but I never tied him to me socially. And so now after the set is over, it's like, okay, I'm about to go back to LA.
Yeah.
I'm about to come to Philly. I'm about to come back to Atlanta. It's a question of, am I going to fly Caiseen out to LA, set him up, room and board?
Yeah.
Or am I just going to go with a trainer in
Right.
LA?
It wasn't tight enough.
It wasn't tight.
So
but I would have tied him socially. If
it would have been different.
It would have been different because that's what he was looking for.
Well, and you would have had more people out there, right,
Yes.
to build a following on. Okay, so you stopped training Kevin Hart, but now you're not working two things. You're just doing personal training.
Yep.
All right, so fast forward me a bit, though. How do we get to
this?
Yes.
So fast forward, I eventually 2014, I go back and I work for Gatorade.
Okay.
And so now...
And this was out of necessity, like I just need income,
everything. And so at that point, I start to build some momentum with the training. But I'm saying to myself, well, you know what? I'm making all these products for people. And eventually, this was Michael Jordan, great example. This was going from the dunking to the fadeaway.
Yeah.
This is my fadeaway.
Okay.
Right? Where in fitness, I can't be 50 years old telling somebody, give me one more set.
Yeah.
Right? And I knew that, okay, at some point, I need something that I can still help with fitness, but I don't have to physically be there, and I can still touch more people.
Yeah.
I can only physically be in present with you one time for a workout, but this can move across the world.
Scalable.
It's scalable.
Right.
And so the biggest thing behind my products is Get Active Protein. I wanted to build something that my grandfather passed with high blood pressure and diabetes. Mm-hmm. And so my target audience is actually men of middle age that need protein intake, that may even have high blood pressure, cholesterol, and things of that nature, or they may not have, and they want to eliminate those. So this protein has probably 95% less sodium and 75% less cholesterol than any other protein in the market.
Wow. Would you recommend it for women?
I would.
Because I know you've been running from me on this personal training thing, but now I got it on video. So, I ain't going to force you into it.
I have a lot of female clients. I'm actually, and see, the crazy part about it is it keeps on circling back. I actually, right now, today, train Mimi Faust from Loving Hip Hop.
Yeah.
And so I'm still training celebrities. I still run into celebrities. And it comes to me. I don't actually go out there and seek it.
So let me ask you this question, right? Because so when we talked about, right, so the passion started with personal training.
Absolutely.
And then walk me through, like in your mind, right? Because you said this becomes scalable, but there's a very, there's an interaction, right, in personal training where you look at that person, you see their body change, you see even their mindset and things like that change. To this, do you get those same endorphins or that same high, whether you're training someone or whether it's people buying your product?
Yes, absolutely. Because, like when you working in engineering, manufacturing, you don't really necessarily see the end goal, the end product, or you don't see the impacts that you're making on your consumers, right? But here I see a direct correlation where I'm changing someone's life directly.
Yeah.
Right? I got clients that call me like, yo, bro, you inspired me during the pandemic. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this shape. I feel better. I feel more confident when I play with my children. I feel more confident when I'm hanging out with my wife.
Yeah.
That's priceless.
I like how you said that, hanging out. We know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah,
it's a pretty adult audience. No. So let me ask you something, though. But I want to dig a little bit more into this, right? Because I heard something differently, right? Which is when we really start to uncover your passion, it is actually centered on the betterment of people's lives.
Correct.
And what it sounds like you've solidified for yourself is that I can make people's lives better because I can give them longevity. I can give them more confidence in how they look. I can give them flexibility in the activities that they're engaging in, both physically, by physical activity, but also by the things they're putting in their body. So I'll ask you, right? So you've got this line. I mean, what do you see? And I've got two questions really. What do you see as the next steps for you?
For me, the next steps is what we're already talking about. So we're currently contracted with CAU, athletic department.
Yeah.
So all the athletes will be taking our protein. So I want to be, the ultimate probably supplement provider for a lot of collegiate schools, whether it's HBCU or D1 schools.
Yep.
Eventually, I would like to step into retail, but we really want to really dominate our e-commerce first. Yeah. And really building a line. So next, we have a vegan protein coming out, and in a liquid way. This is an isolate, so this is like our supreme. And so the bigger vision is to develop a supreme supplement brand that could scale to a first form and building a culture of people that can just feel healthier, feel that confidence. Because what I see is that I have this euphoria because of I've been able to keep myself healthy. Yeah. And there's no price tag you can put on that. I saw a guy on Instagram, he made a comment. He said this one thing. He said they asked him, they said, what was the biggest fashion advice you would give a guy? He said, get in shape. It's priceless. It is. You can put on a Gucci shirt, you can have $1 million in your pocket, but if you don't like how you look in the mirror, it is priceless. That's good. And so I want to be able to just give that to men, give that as much as you can. And if you feel that, then you just feel better about yourself and you feel like you can accomplish so many things. And I've been able to share that experience with so many people I went to school with, and getting them, training them, helping them out, and just being that inspiration to people to say, just because you're getting older, just because you have children, just because you're married, that doesn't mean that you can't look your best or be your best. So you talked through your challenges, your triumphs, the fear, and gave us some advice on that, which I think is great. Fear is paralyzing, right? Yep. If you could do anything, if you could do it differently, would you have still gone to engineering school? Probably so. Yeah. Probably so. I try to never I try to not have a lot of regrets in life. And I'm gonna change it. I'm even change that word about fear, because I feel like it has such a negative connotation about it. But I feel like we just need to exercise that muscle more.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever gives us reluctancy and whatever gives us that fear, we just need to exercise that muscle more as far as just talking to people, stepping out of our comfort zone. And as we exercise that muscle, I would. But yeah, I don't think I would change. I would think I would still go to engineering school. Yeah, I would still went to engineering school, but I think that I would have rather accepted and owned my passion earlier on so that I could be further along in the process of going what I'm going. But I think everything happens for a reason. I feel like one thing I say, if I would have went the path I was going at the rate, I met my wife.
That's fair.
So it's a lot of things that happen in your life that say, okay, yeah, you may not went this direction, but now you have somebody that's there for you, riding with you, that got your back. And so everything happens for a reason.
Caiseen, I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to talk about that personal training in a minute. Yeah. For our viewers, look, sitting here talking to Caiseen has been inspirational for me. And the main thing I got out of this really was you have to seize the opportunities. Opportunity is not concerned about your need, but your ability. If you have abilities and experience, you can use those to move towards your passion. So what abilities do you have that you can use today to get to your passion? Join us next time on the Passionate Pro Podcast.